Good morning. My name is Mary Beam, and I'm in the Elementary Education MAT program at NC State. I'm going to be reviewing the book Mindsets in the Classroom by Mary Kay Reese. So what are mindsets? Fixed mindsets believe that a person has a predetermined amount of intelligence, skills, or talent, and that nothing a person does can change how smart or talented they are. This idea has been in education for a long time, and the perfect example of fixed mindsets are IQ tests, which believe that one single score on one single test determines and can tell you exactly how much intelligence a person has. And that then nothing that person does is ever going to change that number. They just have whatever amount of intelligence that is for the rest of their lives. Now, on the other hand, a growth mindset believes that a person can grow or develop their intelligence, skills, and talent through persistence. But the person must believe that they can improve. So human beings have to be motivated, and no one will put in effort if they don't believe that they can actually get better or achieve their goals. Now, if you are a new teacher who has a growth mindset, who believes that every student can benefit from putting forth effort on school activities, then one of the first things you need to examine is how you praise your students. When students hear praise that acknowledge only an end product or a final performance, they may begin to believe that putting forth a lot of effort is a sign of weakness. So it's important to always praise the effort, not only the result. An easy way to praise effort is to say, wow, you did a great job on that paper. I can tell you worked very hard. It's important to acknowledge that work did go into the product and that you know that you can recognize that work. The next thing you're going to want to do is differentiate the instruction in your classroom. And this makes sense since all of your students are at different levels of mastery of the content. They're going to need different instruction from you. And this seems overwhelming, especially for new teachers, myself included. But it really is just a way to plan your lessons so that you have smaller groups for instruction and that each of those groups is working on something that is beneficial to them. If last year a student memorized all of their multiplication tables, it is not going to benefit them to have time with a math game that drills multiplication tables. They don't need that anymore. They know them. So it's my job as the teacher to figure out what they need more of. An important skill you can give students is to allow students to self-differentiate by providing quality activities for them to choose from. A really easy one is instead of kids who finish a whole group activity, who finish a whole group activity early, instead of giving them like a worksheet or a coloring page or just saying, oh, go read quietly, you can give them specific books. Say, here, you can pick one of these 5 books that are about our social studies topic that we're going to cover later today, to just provide them with that extra extension and enrichment. Instead of just saying, oh, well, you're done. Well, I have to help the kids who are behind, and I don't get to help you because you're ahead. But like I was just saying, this doesn't mean you have to double or triple plan all of your activities. You may have, different writing groups where some of your students need to work on conventions like commas and periods, and some of your students need to work on just increasing their vocabulary. And you're not teaching different writing, you're just teaching different aspects of writing that your students need. Having high quality activities that students can do by themselves while you have direct instruction time with a different group of students will keep students engaged and teach them responsibility so that they have the opportunity to grow their minds. They have the opportunity to grow their minds and show you that they are using their school time wisely. One part of having a growth mindset is switching reward structures from extrinsic to intrinsic. Extrinsic rewards are also very common in education. They come from outside the student, and they are usually physical prizes like tickets or candy or trips to the prize box or whatever the case may be. Intrinsic rewards come from inside the student, and they are personal satisfaction feelings and pride in yourself. Grades are often an extrinsic reward for older students, and allowing students to redo assignments until they get them completely right will help them have personal satisfaction for a job well done, rather than staying with the initial defeat of a bad grade that stays that way forever. One of my favorite strategies that I've learned for helping students recognize mistakes as just a part of learning is called My Favorite Mistake or My Favorite No. It's when you find an example of common mistakes in student work, maybe toward the end of a unit as you're wrapping up and coming up towards the summative exam. And you just let students look at the mistakes that other students have made. Now, write everything in your own handwriting so that no one can tell who made which mistake. But let them look at the mistakes and fix the mistakes, maybe in front of the whole class, maybe as groups of students. And let the mistakes and you've established that these are your, 5 or 6 favorite mistakes that you've seen this unit. So mistakes are a part of learning. And your students will know that. It will just be part of your classroom culture. That, the test must be Friday because on Tuesday we looked at our mistakes. And so hopefully that will help students know that mistakes are just a part of learning and help them cope with failure and build towards the intrinsic rewards, the personal satisfaction of doing well. Finally, the final way to show a growth mindset is through grit. And grit is the ability to stick with a goal over a very, very long period of time. So grit is basically perseverance in overdrive. If our students are going to succeed over the long term, they will need at least a little bit of grit. We can teach them about grit and provide opportunities for them to build their own by providing them with challenges. So we can teach them to recognize productive struggle versus destructive struggle. Productive struggle is when things are a little hard, are maybe different from what they've practiced before, but they are challenges that with hard work, the students can overcome. Now, destructive struggle is when the challenge is truly too hard and the students don't have the skills needed to overcome it, and they just end up feeling defeated and hopeless. So, as you differentiate your classroom, you are looking for opportunities to give students productive challenges, not things that are too hard and not things that are too easy. This is the way that growth mindset manifests. So I hope that I have piqued your interest in growth mindset and particularly this book, Mindsets in the Classroom by Mary Kay Reese. And I would like to end my talk with a quote from the book about why we really need to focus on growth mindsets in today's society. Our society has become one that values pace. The faster the better. If our internet connection is not instant, then we grumble. If a driver in front of us is not going at a pace we agree with, then we moan out loud. If an educator describes a bright child in his classroom or school, then he might hear him refer to the child as quick and those in the bottom reading group as slow. We need to step back, take a breath, and realize that it is not about how fast students master learning. It is about the perseverance and effort that they put forth and the strategies that they utilize. Thank you.